Breaking today, Meghan Markle just couldn't deal with Catherine, the Princess of Wales, completing one of the most amazing feats for a royal who is recovering from cancer in total privacy, because she didn't shout about this Three Peaks mission at all until she had
have a horrible reputation for their lack of work ethic, for their lack of ability to collaborate with genuinely talented people that know what the hell they're doing.
What is it? Can you hear that? Oh, it's the sound of the world's tiniest violin playing for the Duke of Tantrums. Prince Harry has thrown the toys out of the cot again.
According to that source, why Markle will always try and dent anything Catherine, the Princess of Wales, does. The problem is, Catherine is liked, and what you see is genuine. You can really see
Harry
a genuine
and Meghan have an inflated sense of their own importance. And when they aren't twerking on Instagram, they behave as though their heads...
Thought she would mince into the royal family and she'd be Queen Bee, and that girl from a middle-class background blew her out of the damn water. And nobody's ever said that because it would be so upsetting. Meghan Markle met her match and Iron Kate blew her out of the water, and she'll never, ever be able to handle it.
Something just happened that gave everyone a clear reminder of what real character actually looks like. And it caught a lot of people off guard. When someone shows up being genuine instead of putting on an act, it can make everyone else's performance stand out in a big way. If you've been following this story for a long time, and always felt like something didn't quite add up, you weren't imagining it. Your instincts were pointing you in the right direction, and what's coming next helps explain why so many people started asking questions in the first place. And then you have the shallow vein of vapid Meghan Markle, who doesn't really accomplish anything, is contrived as heck, and desperately seems to be trying to compete, without understanding that she needs to come from a place of authenticity. And Meghan has never been really authentic in her life. Here's what actually happened. Because this wasn't just another story about the royal family. Catherine chose to take on something that most people would never even try. She set out to complete Britain's national Three Peaks challenge, covering the highest mountains in England, Scotland, and Wales in an incredibly demanding journey with nearly 23 miles of climbing, all within just 24 hours. This wasn't some easy walk or relaxed day outdoors. It was a serious physical challenge. What really caught people's attention was how she handled it. She didn't announce it ahead of time, build excitement, or turn it into a media event. She simply went out and did it quietly while William and the children were there waiting for her at the finish line. Was a tale of two princesses, wasn't it? One real, one fake. Because what Catherine has achieved here is so significant. But don't you think it's about the way that she did it? It proves you can do something like this in total privacy. It can be for yourself, but then Brittany, as a member of the royal family, you can also use it to do something good, to help others, to raise awareness, to raise money, all of that. If you're 50, 60, or even 70 years old, you probably remember a time when people simply got on with things. They didn't feel the need to announce every plan or look for approval first. They showed up, put in the effort, and let their actions speak for themselves. That's the feeling many people said this moment brought back, because it was about taking action instead of putting on a show. The reason behind the challenge also meant a lot. Catherine was raising money for the Royal Marsden Cancer Charity, the hospital that cared for her during her treatment. It wasn't tied to promoting a project or launching something new. It was support for an organization that played an important role in her life, and she wanted to give something back. I really wanted to use this opportunity as my way of contributing to all the wonderful work that's going on, and in particular to support the Royal Mars and Cancer Charity. An organization very dear to me. That's what stands out about this kind of motivation. It feels different. Many people believe it's hard to pretend you truly care for long. And they often notice the difference between doing something from the heart and doing something mainly for attention. To many observers, Catherine's achievement came across as sincere, and that helped it leave a strong impression. People quickly started talking about it, and the attention reached far beyond the UK. Even before any official announcement, the story was already gaining momentum. But instead of growing because of a carefully planned campaign, many people shared it because they felt it was a genuine moment worth noticing. But what did she do? She kept her head down. She just got on with the job. And even when she had been incredibly ill, she did exactly the same music thing. And that is how you are as a member of the royal family. It isn't fair in this day and age of us being over-articulated and knowing everything about everyone. It doesn't go against what we all perhaps are used to, but it is absolutely the way in which you should act. Anne and I just think she's a really class act. Now think about this for a moment. If you've been following these stories over the years, you may have noticed a pattern that caught your attention. Maybe you even brought it up with friends or family over dinner. Did the timing of these headlines stand out to you? A lot of people said they noticed that just as Catherine's achievement became one of the biggest stories, another major announcement arrived. Only days later, Meghan announced a new product launch for her collection called As Ever, placing it into a new cycle that was already focused on Catherine's accomplishment. Of course, coincidences do happen, and timing alone doesn't prove that events are connected. Still, the overlap was something that sparked plenty of conversation and debate. Coming soon moment for was never was just so predictable. As Harry Meghan Spear put it, of course, right on cue. She couldn't stand the fact that Catherine just completed Britain's National Three Peaks Challenge, a 23m hiking challenge, something Meghan could never do. So what does she do? She announces a new product drop. And there was the obligatory email sent out too at the exact moment where she said, "Some are entertaining." But you know that feeling when something seems to happen more than once. After seeing a similar sequence 2, 3, or even 4 times, some people begin to wonder if there's more to it than simple coincidence. That's when questions start to come up and people begin looking more closely at the timing. If you've been married for years, worked in a busy office, or dealt with all kinds of relationships, you've probably seen situations that remind you of this. One person shares good news and not long afterward, another announcement, product launch, or urgent update suddenly grabs attention. Whether that's planned or just timing is open to interpretation. But it's the kind of pattern that often gets people talking. Everywhere she went, whether it was the site of a massacre or not, or a room full of sick children, she was selling the outfit she was wearing on her AI app. So every appearance is an opportunity to make a sale, to make commission, you know. That's true. Well, yeah, that's true. It's gross. It's gross, but it's true. Sometimes the spotlight shifts and people naturally notice when major stories seem to compete for attention. You may have watched these events unfold and wondered, am I the only one seeing this? You're definitely not the only person asking questions. Many people pay close attention to timing, and it's normal to be curious about how different headlines unfold. Noticing patterns doesn't automatically mean you've reached the right conclusion, but it does mean you're paying attention. You're looking at how people communicate, how stories develop, and how public attention can change from one moment to the next. Years of life experience can help you recognize familiar situations, compare different moments, and think carefully about what feels genuine versus what may be carefully presented. That kind of perspective can be valuable. And at the same time, we have Meghan and the Master Chef and the emails, and just the desperate bid to overshadow Catherine, something I just don't think she can do anymore. That's why this situation caught so much attention. Catherine's achievement took place during a very specific week at a time when Harry and Meghan were also planning a visit to the UK. The timing quickly became a major topic of discussion. From that point on, the focus of the week's headlines seemed to change, and many people noticed the shift in public attention. What you're seeing with Meghan's post is somebody who's acting away through pretending that she is the inventor, the entrepreneur, and it's just not resonating. Think about your own life for a moment. If you've lived through 50, 60, or 70 years, you've probably met people who struggle when someone else is getting all the praise. It's the kind of situation many people recognize because it happens in families, workplaces, and everyday life. You know the type of behavior people often talk about. Instead of celebrating someone else's success, the focus suddenly shifts back to themselves. Moments like that can be easy to notice, and they often leave people wondering why sharing the spotlight